Hey, so guess what I spent money on?
Boys.
I spent $500 on two figures.
Exactly.
For Nendroids or what?
No, they're here, I'll link it in chat. Nendroids are not that much. The most expensive Nendroid I've seen is a $200 one for Ai Sakurajima, and I love her, but I'm not going to spend that much on an Nendroid.
Yeah, the most expensive Nendroid I've seen is Levi, but Captain Levi, but the cleaning version, and I think that one was going for 300. But they just released the regular Captain Levi, so I'm pretty sure the other one's gonna follow soon.
All right, so I bought this figure is like $200, and then I bought another one like it for another $200, and then shipping is going to be like $100 because it's coming straight from Japan. Let me see, where's my thing at? How do I get back in the chat? Discord. There we go. Bam. Also, I'm a degenerate, so don't judge me.
Oh, the bunny ears.
Oh, from Rent Is it from Rent a Girlfriend?
That's my shit.
Yeah. So like I just picked up the manga to pick up from where the series left off at.
Yeah.
And she's like, what'd you do? And I'm like, I got 6 and 7. And she's like, you didn't get 1? And I'm like, no. And she's like, you're not gonna read it? And I'm like, no, I watched up until this point, so I'm just picking up where
Sometimes there's information that you don't see in the anime that you can get in the manga.
She was looking at me as if I opened up a Kit Kat and just bit right into it without breaking it off, like I was some kind of animal or something.
I finished the anime last year and just binged through the whole fucking thing, like in a day. I was hooked. Like I read like 150 chapters in a day.
Wow, that was me with Bleach. I mean, I watched Bleach half-heartedly when it came out, like on Adult Swim. The manga last year, and like I would read on that Shonen Jump app. You can only read 100 chapters a day, so I would cap out at 100, and so I finished the entire series in about a little over a week.
Yeah, I never really got into Bleach. Like it wasn't really my bag. I don't know. I tried watching it, and I think if I read it, it would be better. Mikey, did you close the stream?
Oh, no, that's it. I opened it. I was doing last minute stuff.
But I don't know. Maybe I have to read it, give it a try. Maybe it'd be better in manga form.
I mean, the first, pretty much the Aizen arc is hands down the best arc, and then after that it just kind of tapers off, and then the last like 100 chapters is like, wait, what's happening? But I mean, if you don't take it, if you're not too much of a critic, it's a pretty great manga. But there's a lot to like nitpick about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with all shonens, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like Naruto has its issues. Even One Piece, I mean, has some issues, but I don't. There's people have issues with One Piece. They say the biggest issue is that Oda just doesn't kill off characters when they should die, but it doesn't bother me. Actually, that's why I like One Piece, because like death in anime, I don't really like it. I think it's become. People say that it's good storytelling when characters die, and it's not. It's just, meh.
Yeah.
Okay, one more minute.
Oh, okay. Our mics are about to be hot, so.
Okay.
But good discussion, though. I enjoyed listening to that.
Get out of here.
We should
Alright. 30 seconds, and I'll bring in Gio, and Gio will you guys in. Yeah. Alright, let's go. 3, Hello and welcome to the 1v1 show where we tell you guys the latest in pop culture news. And today we have a variety of topics for you today, such as I already forgot. Morbius and so much more. And Gio, who will and as always joining me every week here on the 1v1 show and actually taking the reins as the main host is Gio Huey Flo.
Yo, what up? What up, Mikey?
Yo.
All right. So, welcome to the 1v1 show. For those of you who have not been here, let me break it down for you. This is a place where we discuss pop culture, nerd culture, or anything niche in between. So whether you are an anime nerd, a fantasy nerd, a sports nut, or whatever it may be, we welcome all newcomers. So, let me break down how the show works. We start off, me and whoever our rotating co-hosts are. We discuss the sub-hits, the quick hits, the subtopics. Or basically, we take 5 minutes and we each discuss 5 stories that we feel is interesting enough to talk about that have happened within the week. Or sometimes we take a topic and if I feel like another co-host or someone else who is more knowledgeable about it, we'll hold it to the next week. But anyways, then after that, we go into the main topic, which is the deep dive, the deeper discussion, the lengthier discussion about what we're talking about. And we can have 1, 2, 3, or even 4 topics. It just kind of depends on how the week works. Now, usually I tell you to stick around after the show for a post show, but we are not going to have a post show today due to external circumstances and obligations. And also, make sure you check out the show. If someone can hit the 1v1 command in chat, and then you will see our YouTube, our Patreon, our Twitter, and our Instagram. Now, don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/the1v1 show, where you can subscribe to us and get some perks. Throw us a few bucks. It would allow us to be able to buy a McChicken every week. If you don't have any extra bucks, it's all gravy. We appreciate your support anyway. And just, hopefully that you come around, hang out with us, and type in chat and talk, and probably talk a lot of shit to me, as most people in our chat do. Anyways, that being said, let me bring in our new co-hosts. Introducing our co-hosts for the week, who are Josh and Jennifer.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up? All right, so if y'all want to give yourselves a quick introduction.
Sure. So my name is Jennifer Quetzali, and my interests are anime and Nintendo, and I'm a hell of a drawer if I weren't so damn lazy.
That is true. I agree. So my name is Josh. I'm a big fan of the show, and when Gio said, if you guys are interested, hit us up. I just thought, why not jump in there and see how it's going. So I'm really excited for the show. We got some good topics, and just want to see how everything goes, and hopefully you guys are treated to a good show.
Yeah, me and Josh actually go way back. We met when we both worked at Target back in 2012, 11,
13, I think, maybe.
I know it was about a year we were there. But anyways, I met this guy because I was selling the cell phones, and this guy was working in the electronics, and basically my day just consisted of just talking shit to him all day.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, let's get started. Let's move into the first topic, which is the World Series. Hell yeah, baseball has finally ended, and I think everyone can agree that thank God it wasn't the Dodgers or the Houston Astros that won. But the team that did win, the Braves, they were the 88-win team, the plucky upstarts that won with some magic from Jock Peterson's playoff prowess, and that inspired men, women, and children to don pearl necklaces, which will now be fitted with diamond rings. They are the World Series champs for just the 4th time in their history, and just the 2nd time since they moved to Atlanta. I think the last time they won was in 1995, and they won not just because Jorge Soler, who was given the World Series MVP, hit 3 go-ahead homers in 6 games, and he literally knocked one out of the park with this mammoth three-run shot off Astros right-hand man Luis Garcia. But because basically their general manager was able to make the right trades at the right time, they were able to hit timely hits in the right moments, and they just got hot essentially at the right time, which is what I enjoy about baseball more than I want to say football and basketball, in the sense that any team can get hot in the playoffs, and it is probably the most unpredictable of the sports to judge. Because when it comes to football, I think it's pretty easy to tell once playoffs hit who's the team that's going to win. Yeah, we get a couple upsets, but usually we know that last year we knew it was going to be Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, right? In basketball, right? You know it's the team with the superstars are the ones that's going to dominate. Last year it was who? Sorry, I can't. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to pronounce his name right. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Yes, did I say that right? Right? Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's got a long name. The Greek Freak. He was pretty much billed as being the biggest superstar coming out right after LeBron. He's supposed to be the next big thing, and he finally delivered on a ring. So, Josh, do you watch baseball at all? What about you,
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Yeah, so I watch baseball. I'm a Giants fan. She's a Dodgers fan. So going into the postseason was rough.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're over here. We're in a studio, so it's like tight quarters. So we were fighting at one point. I was on one edge of the room. She was on the other edge of the room. A lot of spite going on, but I agree that I'm super happy that the team that won, just because I'm all about like the rallying and like turning it on postseason, and I'm just glad that Houston didn't win. I mean, I'm still like they're labeled cheaters in my book, like, and I just like I'm done with it. You know what I mean? Like at least for a couple of years, like let them not win, and if they want to come back and win a few years down the line, fine. But I'm still salty that they got caught up in everything, and like they got their rings and everything. So I don't know. Like I'd rather the team that won, Atlanta, win than Houston for sure.
What about you, Jennifer? How do you feel about this?
I honestly am just glad that the Dodgers beat the Giants. I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area where there are very few Dodgers fans.
With good reason. Josh, can we move the camera more this way?
This way?
Yeah, more this way?
Oh yeah, all the way. Get rid
All
of
the
it.
way.
I mean, growing up, especially because I'm surrounded by Giants fans. My dad is a Giants fan. And so growing up,
How did you become a Dodgers fan if your parents are Giants fans?
not parents, my dad.
Oh, just your dad? Okay.
Yeah, and he's my stepdad, so he came later. So we adopted him.
Got it.
But everyone else for the National League was the Dodgers, and then for AL was the Athletics. And so I get so much shit for liking the Dodgers from my friends, my dad.
Sure.
This one right here.
She went to school in San Francisco, but still a Dodgers fan. Oh no, how that
I
happened.
think we can deal with this. Wait, hold on. Okay, enough of like Dodger slander, even though we could go on all day about it. But what about the fact that the Atlanta baseball team has gotten flack for basically the name the Braves and the tomahawk chop, which they do during the games, is pretty much a openly racist act. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I definitely I think it's one of those topics where like how in NFL, like with Washington changing their name and stuff like that, like I think that's the kind of change that needs to happen, like we're getting more PC about things, and like some people are saying it's too much PC, but this is one that like actually matters. This is one that these changes need to happen, I think, across all different kinds of sports that kind of just openly have these like topics and racist acts and stuff going on throughout the game just because it's tradition.
My mom is indigenous. She's Chiricahua Apache. And so for me, growing up with that type of culture embedded into me, it's not nice. It's not fun to see. And I think when I was younger, because I was trying to be part of the majority, back a few years ago, I remember people were left and right saying, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. And because I wanted to be part of the community, I wanted to separate my culture. I kind of went with the flow. But as I got older and became an adult and started thinking for myself, I realized, no, that is unbelievably not okay. It's just, with any other culture, just putting it out there, like a mascot and things like that, or Halloween costumes, even more recently. It's just one of those things where you got to be respectful. I mean, learn to, if you want to love the culture, if you want to embrace the culture, that's one thing, but wearing it as a costume or doing these types of things that are so, stereotypical, it's not right.
Well said. Well said. All right. I think that was very well said. Also, I do feel we are making some progress with Washington getting rid of its name, and even Cleveland, like getting rid of the name Indians into Guardians. So we're seeing progress slowly but surely. But yeah, like, these are discussions that do need to happen, and hopefully they continue to happen as human beings, we continue to get better and better. But let's go into something else, something that, people were celebrating Atlanta winning the World Series, and here's something that not really that many people are celebrating, is Chris Pratt seeming to voice everyone. What's going on with him?
Yeah, first we heard it with Mario, Chris Pratt was going to be the voice of Mario, and now coming out saying that he's going to be the voice of Garfield. I think that it's kind of like, what's going on? Like, is no one else accepting offers? Is Chris Pratt the only one sitting there saying, like, yeah, sure, I'll do Mario, I'll do Garfield? Like, what's going on here? I mean, not to mention, in addition to all that, the fact that Bill Murray was the one that voiced him before, like, that's a big act to follow. And to have Chris Pratt follow in those shoes, like, I don't know. Is it a money grab? Do you think he'll actually be good? He had his funny moments on Parks and Rec. So, I'm interested to see how it goes. Will I go to theaters and watch it? I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? I saw a video, I think actually with Anthony Mackie, talking about how, and maybe you two can agree or disagree with me on this, but the fact that people don't go to movies just to see the stars anymore. We're not in a star-driven Hollywood, pretty much, league anymore, where people don't just say, oh, it's a new Tom Cruise movie, so I'm going to go watch it, right? Or it's a new Anthony Mackie movie. People go because of the series, the franchise, or the characters. That seems to be what's driving ticket sales nowadays. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
For me, I think that's definitely well said, just because when I look at films, I don't know half the people who are in them anymore. I think 10, 15 years ago, Angelina Jolie, would be the front and center, this person, But at the same time, actually, on the flip side, let's look at Dune. Zendaya was a huge part of that trailer, the production, and when you watch the film, how much airtime she has is minuscule compared to what they kind of portrayed it to be in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like, it's two sides. Like, one is, like, that was a great example. Like, they marketed the crap with Zendaya on Dune, and then, like, when watching the movie, you're like, oh, okay, like, she's not, the screen time is, like, limited compared to, like, how much she was, like, advertising the movie and stuff. So I don't know. Like, I think with Garfield and stuff like that and Chris Pratt, it's just one of those things where it's like, how interested are you to go watch all these reboots, man? Like, it's just like reboots and like nothing's original, and it's just like, it's different. So, like, I don't know. Like, I think it may be a money grab. Like, someone saw, oh, he's doing voiceovers for Mario. Let's link him up on Garfield and, like, see what else he can do. So, I don't know if he's gonna still be as funny as he was in Parks and Rec. Like, I think after he moved on from Parks and Rec, like, his level of humor kind of just started digressing. So.
Nice Samantha in the chat says, it's when studios hype up a single actor thinking that they can draw in older audiences to kid movies. Yeah, I guess they could do that to try to, probably get parents. Like, oh, we got to take the kids to watch this movie, but at least this actor is in it, so whatever. And I think the star-driven league is something that's definitely something for the more older audiences, like maybe our parents and up age. and kind of our generation is kind of, we don't see it as a star-driven league. And also, like, I don't think Chris Pratt would make a good Garfield. Garfield's kind of a lazy, like, slower speaking, like, character. If anything, I think Chris Pratt would be a better Odie.
Yeah, high energy.
Let's look at Mario. He's supposed to play Mario. How I just don't know. I don't know what they're bringing to the table. I told Joshua when I found out about that, him playing Mario, and maybe they're trying not necessarily to embody the actual character for what it is, but make it something different. And so I don't know if it's going to be a reboot or if it's going to be just something brand new.
I think it's just going to be, whether it's Mario or it's Garfield, I think it's just going to be Chris Pratt talking in his normal voice. I don't think he's going to be doing any kind of accent. It's just going to be like, oh, it's Chris Pratt's Garfield. That's Chris Pratt's Mario. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think if we're talking about Parks and Recs too, I think what's his name? Nick Offerman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have made a better Garfield than Chris Pratt.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You just got that flow, yeah. That cadence, that like soft draw, like it's just
monotonous, almost like a monotone voice.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. All right, so we go from Chris Pratt, moving on to the next. We're talking about Netflix and their gaming. So, have you all heard about this? I mean, I know we talked about it on the show, but have you checked this out? Did you log into their website? I mean, I'm assuming you have Netflix at home.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Have you checked this out? The Netflix gaming?
I've not. I mean, no, I haven't.
All right, so here, let me give you the breakdown. So Netflix has launched five mobile games for Android phones and tablets because it's pretty much trying to get a bigger share of subscriber attention and entertainment time. So they've given out, excuse me, they're trying to capitalize on the success of Stranger Things by offering two Stranger Things games for the mobile and tablet market, which is Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3 the game. And the other three games that it comes with are Shooting Hoops, Card Blast, Teeter Up, which are all billed as for adults only. So essentially you would go onto the Netflix gaming website, and if you are an Android user, you would pretty much get these five games for free. Essentially free of charge. So that's basically 2 million out of Netflix's 2 million subscribers. If you are an Android user, you'll get these five games free of charge with no advertisements, additional fees, or in-app purchases necessary. So we know that Netflix is trying to corner a bit of the market share when it comes to gaming. And when this news dropped, we weren't really sure of how their strategy would pay off. Are they going for the AAA market? Are they going to be kind of a Stadia type cloud gaming service similar to their movies but with AAA gaming? Are they going to do more interactive things like Bandersnatch or the WWE Halloween one, where it's kind of a choose your own adventure that you play while watching Netflix? Are they going to go for the mobile market? And it seems like we kind of got our answer there, where it seems like they're going for mobile games, tablet games, in a sense to try to get more of a, I think the term was market share and entertainment time from the consumer in order to get to have people more on Netflix. What do you think about this strategy? Do you think it'll pay off? Do you think people will play this?
I don't really know. Like, I think that there's definitely a trend, like you said, with the movies and being able to pick your next plot and stuff like that. So they're definitely trying to get more engagement from the audience, and like going on the mobile platform with the gaming and stuff. I think it's like, maybe it'll be good for, parents that are trying to keep their kids occupied, but I'm not leaving my Switch. I'm not leaving my Switch to go play games on Netflix. You know what I mean? So I don't really know like how much it'll pay off. Maybe they're just trying to test it out to see how much of the market they can penetrate and then kind of go from there. But Do I see it taking over and being another big, staple in the gaming industry? No, but there's a lot of things that you don't know about until it really happens. So I guess it's kind of just trial and error and see what the feedback is.
I mean, historically, looking at Bandersnatch Black Mirror, I was so into that. I thought it was so cool to kind of have that, what's the term of those types of books and things, like create your own
adventure.
Your own adventure. There you go. I thought it was really cool, although you don't hear about it anymore now. I don't know when's the last time anybody's mentioned Bandersnatch since it came out. How many years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a nice little, here it is, take it for what it is, but I don't know if it's going to ever pick up or be anything more than just like a quick, let me see what's going on, and then after a few weeks, put it away and never see it again.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to this, I don't think Netflix is going for taken away from Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo. What I think they're kind of aiming for is kind of the same space as Apple Arcade, where I don't know if you're both of you are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're trying to. That's the spot they're trying to get. Because Apple Arcade, from what I know, is seemingly successful. But the thing is that they have a built-in kind of subscriber base in iPhone users, but maybe that's what Netflix is going for. They're trying to be the Apple Arcade for Android users.
It's a good notion to see if they could actually do that. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. It's just like you said, like it's a built-in subscriber for iPhones. Anyone that has an iPhone is like, boom, you're ready to go. Like, I don't know if that extra step to go and pursue something with Netflix is like, if people do that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
worth it.
Well, not only that, but how many times, I just don't know how successful it would be for a television show. You know what I'm trying to say? Turning a television show into a game. I'm not sure how successful they would be with that either.
Fair point. I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how because this is still kind of like the first round of them booting it up, and we'll see if they evolve from this or if they'll just abandon it. We'll see. We'll keep an eye out, and we'll definitely let the audience know as more updates or new features come to this service. But anyways, we're moving on from Netflix, which is pursuing games, to actually I don't really have a good to warlocks pursuing curses. There you go. Let's go. Yeah. I caught that one up. Anyway, we're going to talk about the new Jujutsu Kaisen movie. Why don't you give me the rundown on that?
Yes, so Jujutsu Kaisen is releasing a film. They released a trailer this past Thursday, and it's a prequel. So pretty much everything that you had seen through season 1 has nothing to do with it. Well, I guess it does. But so pretty much it's going to cover Yuta, who is a third year in the first season, but it's going to take place when he becomes a first year. And pretty much he has this curse and who follows him around, and the curse is someone who was important to him, his childhood friend. And it's pretty much just him going into the Jujutsu Kaisen world and trying to figure out how to bring peace with this part of him, this part of his past that he can't just seem to separate from. And part of that, you will see these characters that are in the first season, like Gojo Sensei, as well as new characters or characters that you didn't get fleshed out so much in the first season, like Geto Suguru. And I'm really excited about it just because I really liked the prequel when it was in the manga. It was drawn a little bit differently, and I don't know if it was a different artist, but it looks like that's also going to be a similar case here, where the style of animation is just going to be slightly different. It is releasing in Japan December 24th, but not here in the States. We're looking at probably a 2022 release, which is kind of what anime films, when they get released in Japan, like usually about a year wait.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unless you get it through like other channels.
Yeah.
Other
Other channels.
I don't know if you remember back in the day, like watching anime, you'd have to watch in parts in YouTube. Maybe something like that.
Okay. So you've read the manga. Have both of you read it?
I have not.
Yes.
So she'll dabble in the manga. I'll just be like, tell me what happens next. Tell me what happens next. So I was a big fan of the season 1 when it came out. I mean, she kind of dangled it in front of my face and was like, hey, do you want to watch this? And I was like, sure. And then I got really into it, and I liked it. I liked season 1 a lot. So I'm excited to see the prequel in theaters and to see what that's all about. So I'm excited for it, but I don't know how much of the manga is going to be transitioned into the film.
I feel it. Yeah, I have not watched season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I've read, so I started reading the manga, and I did read all of the prequel arc, so I know what happens. And I'm probably gonna watch this. And I want to say the first 13 chapters of the manga of the actual series, and there's a plot point that happened that I didn't really care about, and I kind of dropped it. And I'll probably end up picking up the anime, just because everyone talks about the animation being really clean and good in the anime. But I'm not the biggest into Jujutsu Kaisen. It's really not my type of bag right now, and it's not what I really want to read, but I can sense the phenomenon has become within the anime community. And people are telling me that the animation looks better than Demon Slayer, which Demon Slayer is really pretty to look at, and especially in certain parts. So if they're saying it tops that, then it must be, gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the manga, or you've read the manga, so it's kind of not necessarily the cleanest as far as the art style.
Yeah.
And later on, I'm not sure if it's still the same way or if they've cleaned it up, but there have been a couple chapters where it's literally the rough sketches, and they had to put them in there because the mangaka, I can't think of the name of the mangaka right now, but the person who draws and creates the story, they were sick and they couldn't flesh everything out as well as they wanted to, even though it's already kind of gritty already. It was really weird to see, because you read one page and it was the style that you're used to seeing, and then the next page it was just like a rough draft of what it was supposed to be. So I definitely think that it does have its moments. It's it has a lot of things you need to know. It gives out a lot of information, and so when you're reading the manga, it can be overwhelming at times because it gives you so much information, and if you're not paying attention, then you kind of lose track of what's going on. That's happened to me several times so far. So I think that's one thing I appreciate about the anime, is that it keeps me more focused, especially with the action, because whereas it's just a picture and then a long paragraph of words on a manga, in anime it's more like telling you, it's like bringing out the story, it's fleshing it out. And so I prefer the manga for that purpose, and so I'm excited to see the movie because of that.
Sure. All right. So now we go on from demon curses to Croatia's curses. Actually, did I pronounce that right? I'm not the biggest Potterhead, so we're moving on to Harry Potter. All right. So flowers bloom as magic dies. So are both of you familiar with Niantic, the company?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, they made the smash hit Pokemon Go, which everyone played Pokemon Go. We all know. You still play Pokemon Go? I heard.
Yeah, we still play Pokemon Go.
I heard that it's changed up a lot. I dropped it after the first summer.
Yeah, I think I had it when it first came out, and then it was just recently, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago.
It's been a little bit.
We're let's get back into it just because of where we live. We're in San Diego, by the way, for anyone who didn't know. So where we're at, there's just a lot more Pokestops and everything, and we're all right, let's try it out. and then going to Disneyland and waiting around in lines. We're like, we'll just play Pokemon Go, and like, there's a lot more stuff you can do in it now compared to what it was before. So,
Okay. So, did you know that there was a Harry Potter game by the same company?
No.
I vaguely heard about it, although I wasn't interested enough to download it.
So there we go. Because of your apathy, that game is dead. Harry Potter Wizards Unites will be pulled from the App Store, the Google Play Store, and the Galaxy Store on December 6th, and it will be pretty much shutting down January 31st, 2002. And honestly, the worst part about this is that if you have in-game money, that after January 31st, 2002, if you still have money in that game, you will not be refunded. You'll basically lose it. So they're basically trying to get you to spend that money so you don't feel like you were cheated out of it, even though you were. And there hasn't really been an AR like reality game that's been on the hit of Pokemon Go, because Niantic also made a Settlers of Catan game, and Microsoft shut down Minecraft Earth in June, and there just really isn't a market for AR games unless you're Pokemon Go. Even though Niantic has just released a trailer for their Pikmin-focused AR game, and they are in the works for a Transformers game in the works. And honestly, I would put top dollar that Transformers game is going to fail. I mean, what about you all? Like, do you think there's a property out there that could succeed on the level of Pokemon Go? Or will there just not be anything that can top that?
I don't think so, man. I think of Pokemon Go, I think it just like Pokemon in general, I think it just hit that like nostalgic button in me where it's like, dude, I want to do this because I used to collect the cards when I was younger. Like I used to do all those things. I used to try to play the game, not play it well, but try to play the game with the cards when I was younger. And it's just like, for me, it was nostalgic to be like, dude, I could do this on my phone now. Like, and it was just like, it was one of those things where they did a good marketing of it, but then I think social media just kind of took it over and like projected it to like another level. And I don't think with like these other games like Harry Potter and Minecraft, I just don't think that it took that same flight path that it did with Pokemon Go when it came to like social media. You know what I mean? Like it was a trendy thing to say like, I got a Blastoise, I have a Charizard level, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's different. Like, it's easier to kind of, I guess, flex. Like, when you're sharing, like, we'll do it all the time. She'll come home and she'll be like, you won't believe what I caught. And I'm like, what'd you catch? And she's like, Ghastly, but a shiny. And I'm like, what? Like, it's just like, it's those kind of things where, like, it's a little bit, I guess, easier to flex, like, with Pokemon Go versus, like, I mean, I've never played the Harry Potter game, but I could just imagine, like, check out my wand, like, it's, like, the new one. I don't know, like.
Sounds very phallic.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like, I just think with Pokemon, the transition was easier, especially because, like, the market and the people that they're trying to, like, get involved is easier to do, you know?
I honestly would love to see, and I don't know how successful it would be, but it's near and dear to my heart. Have you ever played Yokai Watch?
Yeah.
I love Yokai Watch, and I'm so sad it didn't get the same hype as it did in Japan as like Pokemon, because it's very similar. I don't know if you've ever played.
No.
It's very similar to Pokemon, where you're finding these demons or like yokai, and it's very fun and it's funny. I think it's a lot funnier than Pokemon. So I would love to see Niantic put something out like with Yokai Watch. I just don't know how successful it would be.
I think it would be successful in Japan, probably not here. And I do remember the Nintendo did push, maybe not as much as Pokemon, but it did try to push Yokai Watch a bit, because they were releasing trailers for it. They're putting it in its Nintendo Directs. So there was a little bit of a push. It just didn't hit. And I remember watching kind of trailers and gameplay of Yokai Watch. And I think the thing about Pokemon is, though, even though it's very easy and very simple, it still has core JRPG mechanics in it. And Yokai Watch was a little bit more, I want to say, not action-based, but the mechanics wouldn't appeal to an older crowd. And plus, we don't have the nostalgia for it. So
that's true.
That's the key thing. Yeah, I mean, even though Harry Potter is super popular, to me, it's nowhere near the level as Pokemon. And people also, Harry Potter's kind of a hot topic based on things that J.K. Rowling has said now. So, yeah, you know, it's not really a big. That's not really something you want to bring up now at a party. But speaking of parties, we're gonna move on from one party to another. Tell me about what's up with the new Mario Party game.
Yeah, guys, get ready to party. Mario Party is coming out with a next installment. I believe it's the first one since 3 years or after 3 years, and it's Mario Party Superstars, and it's pretty much the same thing but better. There's going to be mini games and boards. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how the game plays already, but pretty much multiplayers. You have to play these mini games, and they're supposed to be like similar ones to like the Squid Game. I saw that TikTok.
I did see TikTok.
But yeah, so far critics have had a mostly positive reviews on this new game. And I think IGN gave it an 8 out of 10, and GameSpot gave it a 6 out of 10, I think, which was the lowest review.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mario Party. Like, I think that it's obviously something that, like, in the title, I definitely play it with a bunch of other people. Like, it's the thing to do. Like, it's instead of playing a board game, we'll like kick on Mario Party. You know, we'll have some little chicken nuggies going on in the air fryer, some French fries, and then like we're playing Mario Party. Like me, my brother, Jen, and James, and we're just we're going at it, and it's fun. It's really fun to kind of just get out and like kind of put yourself in a different world where it's like, all right, I'm gonna play this game and focus on this game, like, and to do your own thing. So I'm excited for it. I really like the game, and yeah, like I think it's always gonna be a good game. Like I don't think it's ever not gonna be a fun game to play. I mean, would I play it by myself? Like no, but like playing it in a group when you have people that are like competitive and stuff, like I think it's a good game.
Yeah, it is releasing the holiday season, which I think is going to be a very big push for Nintendo, especially because with holiday comes family celebration, getting together. So I think it's the perfect time they're releasing this game.
I don't know. You said it's always going to be a good game. I disagree. I think there have been some Mario Party games that have been fucking trash.
Which ones?
The ones when you're in the car? That's the dumbest shit I've ever...
Okay, there's like a shit ton of mini games. Like you're bound to have one mini game that you're just
okay, but like
because you're not good at it.
Fraction of the game. That's like saying, okay, here's a 100-point test. Oh, you got 5 of them right. Oh, congrats! There's your passing score. No, it's still
an F. Because you're probably not good at it. That's probably why you don't like it.
No.
Yeah.
This is a
you're probably
false narrative. Here's the deal, you twat. Shut up. All right. So, the first 3 Mario Party games are amazing, which is why I'm excited about this new one. Right. Because it goes back to the old games. Super Mario Party had potential, but if you look at the boards, right? If you look at the boards, they're just all squares. They're really boring looking. Now, the ones in the car, where you're essentially all moving in the same direction, there is no fucking strategy to it. It sucks. I want to say Mario Party was good. 1, 2, 3. I want to say up to 6. It was good, and then it started going downhill. And then Super Mario Superstar or Super Mario Party was a step in the right direction, but wasn't a full step. And now I think going back to basics, going to the going back to the older games and putting quality of life and also remaking the visuals. I think this is the direction where we're going. I think when they try to make too much gimmicks on Mario Party is when it starts to suck. There you go. Okay, nice. Samantha was right. 7 had good boards. 8 was trash. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we can't say that every game is going to be a win, considering how many there are. Like, let's look at Mario Kart, for example, which you also go in the same direction, mind you.
But that's different. No. Don't even compare that because this is a board game. That's a racing game. That is so different.
Fair enough.
I hope in this new game, I hope they have a category where they give like a star to the saltiest player, and you'll get that star every time at the end of the game.
Well, you won't get the one for the fucking biggest dipshit take. Fuck off, Josh.
No, but
Anyways, hey, they're gonna have online on this, so I'll beat your ass in this anytime.
We can go.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we could get this party started.
oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, gang shit. All right, let's move on. From a party that everyone had fun at to a party where someone got COVID. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Have you heard of this story? I don't know. Josh, I know you follow football. What about you, Jen?
So, I'm not a big football fan, or American football, for those of you who are outside of the States. My sister got me into it, and my sister is a Packers fan. So, apparently I'm losing with the Dodgers and the Packers today.
That's crazy. But yeah,
I heard about it. I mean, I heard the only thing I heard about it was something about like Aaron Rodgers was praising Joe Rogan for.
Oh God. Okay, here let me break down the news story for you. So, Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID-19. Here's the thing. He'll miss a game against the Chiefs, and it pretty much shocked the NFL world because during August, he said he had been immunized. And since training camp, he has not publicly stated that he was vaccinated, but that he was immunized. But there is rules that have been signed by the NFL and the NFL Players Association, which basically say that because he was not vaccinated, essentially that he had to follow these certain guidelines, and he did not. Now, the thing is, did Aaron Rodgers lie? Did he say he was vaccinated? He never said he was vaccinated. In August, a reporter asked him if he had been vaccinated for COVID-19, and he said, yeah, I've been immunized. So there's a difference there, because by saying he was immunized does not mean that he was being vaccinated. Because vaccination, according to the CDC, is the act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce protections from a specific disease. The definition for immunization is a process by which a person becomes protected against a disease through vaccination. So, basically, there is, you could parse the definitions and parse the words, but basically Aaron Rodgers did not say that he was vaccinated. And there are pictures of him going to a Halloween party with no mask, dressed as John Wick, and then he gets COVID the day after. Here's the thing, though: is Aaron Rodgers going to be punished for this? Probably not, because he's Aaron fucking Rodgers, and I doubt that the league is going to do anything, especially with Goodell being a huge twat. But also, like, he went on to say that he was doing what Joe Rogan was doing. Remember when Joe Rogan got COVID and he was taking like a bunch of different drugs and a bunch of the worm what is it, horse dewormer?
Oh yeah. So like Joe Rogan was like, when Joe Rogan got sick with COVID, he's pretty much coming out with like a shit list of like all these different things that he took and like boosted on, like zinc and everything. That was like, this is what's gonna help me out. And like what I saw was Aaron Rodgers pretty much saying like, I'm so thankful for Joe Rogan, that Joe Rogan shared all those tips, and like, it's helping me get through it, and like I'm gonna be better now because of it, and I'm gonna have the best immune system of my life going forward after making it through COVID with the tips and tricks that I got from Joe Rogan. I'm just like, what is going on, man? Like, I just don't understand like where all of a sudden the praise came from Joe Rogan, or to Joe Rogan, just kind of say that Joe Rogan's got the undercover cure for COVID, I guess.
The thing is, when you look at it, right, Joe Rogan and Aaron Rodgers, they have the money and the resources to be able to get all these different drugs. Your average American doesn't. It's kind of like when Kyrie Irving was saying, I want to be the voice of the masses and not get vaccinated and potentially lose my job. Okay, Kyrie Irving, who makes millions of dollars. Your average American who is on his side cannot afford to lose their job. So therefore, you're being irresponsible. Zombie Bin in the chat says the NFL knew he wasn't vaccinated. I didn't hear about that. I don't know if you could just send me a link to that later. I don't know if that was just hearsay or if there's an actual source on that. But if they knew that he wasn't vaccinated, it goes to my point that nothing's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, big name like player like that in the NFL. Like
if this was like some third string like outside linebacker on the Browns, he probably would have been banned for like 16 games. But it's Aaron Rodgers; they're not going to do anything to him.
Especially with the way he's been playing, they're not going to do nothing, man. He's good to go. He's Aaron Rodgers, like you said. If there's someone else like on the Browns, they'll wave his ass. But Aaron Rodgers, he's just going to be like tapping the wrist.
All right, moving on.
But pretty interesting talking about vaccinations and not vaccinating. Someone who's actually undergoing his own experimental treatment is Morbius, Michael Morbius. So, interesting is the new Morbius trailer came out, and I'm very excited for it. It was Michael Morbius was one of those movies where I felt like we got a trailer and we got silence for like a while, obviously because of COVID and everything. And then now they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we got to pick that up and like keep running with it. So they put out the new trailer. I'm super excited for it. The CGI, I don't know if it's maybe just a trailer, like it didn't look the best, but I'm definitely interested to see how everything goes. So Jared Leto is actually playing Dr. Michael Morbius, suffering from a rare blood disorder, undergoes his own experimental treatment to only find out an inner darkness is unleashed. So what do you think about this trailer, Gio? Did you see it?
Yeah, actually it played right before we watched Eternals. I'm sorry. I'm going to get those two confused a lot. But before we watched Eternals, the trailer played. And I'd watched it beforehand, but seeing it on the big screen kind of made me pay more attention to it. And honestly, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look amazing. Maybe I'll watch it, but I haven't watched either of the Venom movies. And I'm just really not interested in this Spider-Verse that they're having without Spider-Man in it. Essentially, it's all the side characters from the Spider-Man world in Sony movies, and I just can't make myself to care. Like Morbius, I never cared about him in the cartoon. Like, what makes you think I'm going to care about him in this movie? I love Venom. I didn't watch the movies because they don't look good. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, they do tease some connections to Spider-Man and to Venom in this trailer, and obviously off this trailer and the first trailer that they showed off, you see Michael Keaton, who played the Vulture in Spider-Man: Homecoming. So it'd be interesting to see what the connections are there, but I don't think it's enough for me to watch this in theaters. If it comes through a streaming service, maybe I'll just find it through other channels. 3 Shots of the Kettle 1 in chat says they aren't good. Tom Hardy is underutilized. Yeah, and I also think Tom Hardy, he's a great actor, but I don't think he was casted right for this role. I think it's one of those like, oh, people love Bane, Tom Hardy's Bane. Let's see if we can get Tom Hardy as Venom, and it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that. I just also didn't enjoy it. He said he liked the first one, and
Okay,
I didn't like either of them.
I dragged her to the second Venom movie just because I was like, let me see what it's about. And I thought the first one was okay. I thought the first Venom was okay. Like, I thought that, the second one was definitely not the same. I felt like it was almost like too comical, like at some points where I was like, what's going on here? But I think I'm excited. I am excited for the Morbius movie just to come out and see how the everything connects, because like you said in the trailer, they definitely have parts from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and then Vulture coming in from Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So to see those all kind of connect and then hit on obviously Venom in the trailer too, Morbius saying like I am Venom and stuff like that. So like them hitting on all those points and like seeing how it all connects is gonna be interesting, but it is gonna be something where I'm like, I don't know how everything's gonna come together, and I don't know if it's gonna be done the right way. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm worried that they're gonna be like, yeah, we're just gonna give them what they want, and then like, but they're not gonna really put a lot of thought into it. So like, I'm hoping that everything goes well, but with the connection of all these different multiverses and stuff, like, things could easily get, a little hairy.
My other gripe, though, is that I feel like they keep recycling the same superhero celebrities. Jared Leto played Joker, and they're reusing all these celebrities, and there's a difference with like bringing old characters back. For example, Doc Ock, I don't know the actor who plays the name of the actor, but there's that nostalgia factor with like old characters coming back as themselves. But I just wish they'd bring in some fresh meat, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't know. I just feel like Jared Leto, I've seen him he's very saturated in the superhero world. So I would like to see different people portray these characters.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. Gio, what do you think about when there's actors that are in the DC universe and then all of a sudden, in the Marvel universe? Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's just kind of the whole thing that I think studios haven't accepted the fact that we don't really care about who's playing the actor or the actress as long as, the role is done well. So we don't go saying like, oh, this person was in this movie and that movie was great. If they're in this other movie, then that movie must also be good. I think especially in the superhero genre, where if you can tell when a studio is making a casting direction or a casting decision based on the actor and not on the character, because you're like, that's weird, right? Which is essentially what we were talking about earlier with the Chris Pratt and the Mario thing. Like, they were saying, oh, he's so cool, he's so popular, but he's not really Mario. So
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, moving on from a doctor to a spy man who has his family. Actually, that's bad. That's a bad transition. Hold on. All right. So, anyways, Spy Family, which is one of the most popular and acclaimed mangas of the last several years, is finally getting an anime. Cloverworks Studios and Wit Studios, the studios have announced that they are behind the project, creating a crossover. So Spy Family follows secret agent Twilight as he attempts to infiltrate the government of an enemy state using a fake family as his cover. So while Twilight is afraid of letting his fake wife, Yor, aka the Thorn Princess, figure out he's a spy, she's secretly an assassin, and their quote-unquote daughter, Anya, is a psychic who just wants to keep her new family together. The series was written and illustrated by Tetsuya Endo and started its run in 2019 and soon became a super popular Shonen Jump anime. So the two studios that are collaborating on this are Cloverworks, who have done The Promised Neverland, Horimiya, and Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which is amazing, which is fantastic. If you haven't watched that show, watch it. Meanwhile, Wit Studios has been one of the most highly regarded anime studios of the last decade because of the 3 seasons of Attack on Titan that they did, The Ancient Magus Bride, and the Vinland Saga. And I haven't seen any of those, so all I can say is that Cloverworks, I enjoyed season 1 of Promised Neverland. I was told not to watch season 2. Horimiya seems like something I would enjoy, but I haven't watched it. And Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai is just amazing. So I'm really happy this is getting an anime. Finally, honestly, I think it's one of the best titles that Shonen Jump has put out in a while. It's hilarious. There's still action. It's not overly edgy. I think it's great. 3 Shots of the Cuddle One says trash. We're talking to a man who reads Twilight, and his opinion shall not be valid on anything, so he can get out of here.
Yeah, I am so excited for Spy Family. I don't move your head. I love this manga. I think it is so sweet. My only gripe is that the chapters come out way, way too long. Like I think they take 2 weeks or longer per chapter, and so I want more of it. I first read it at the height of COVID last year, early 2020. And he will tell you, like, I was just reading chapter after chapter after chapter. I think there were only 17 chapters or so when I found it, but I read it within an hour. I was just hooked. It's just such a sweet manga. And it has a lot of great themes to it. So applause all around. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it all comes together. I think that The Promised Neverland, like, I thought it was good. I like that one. And you said someone told you not to watch season 2?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I didn't like it as much as the first season, but I mean, I didn't hate it. So I mean, I'm excited to see how this is gonna go.
Have you read the manga for Promised Neverland?
No,
That's
but
probably why.
I did hear that they jumped a huge.
They
right?
cut out
Like,
so much in the Promised Neverland. They cut out important characters, important settings. There was basically.
I don't read the manga and then I'm not disappointed. So then
Nice Samantha says once you read the manga and watch the anime, you will hate the anime more. Essentially, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I'm excited for this. I love Spy Family. The thing that I'm worried about is, like you said, Jen, is that it takes forever for the for the chapters to come out because they are bi-weekly. So it's every 2 weeks, not every week. And the thing about an anime is an anime can cover the first 50 chapters. And I believe they're only up to, I want to say 55 now. So are they going to put in some filler? Are they going to stretch it out? How is that going to work? So, if we get the first season of the anime and they cover the first chapter or the first 50 chapters, then we're probably not going to get season 2 for another 2 or 3 years. So
it'll be another Attack on Titan when you're waiting for what was it, the second season or the second season? I think we waited 2 years or something. Oh, I don't think you watched it, but. Wait, you said you haven't seen Attack on Titan? I'm sorry, I had to go back on that.
Yeah, no, it's not something that I care about.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, going back to Spy Family, I'm excited because of these two animation productions. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I think that there's so much potential for it, even for fillers, because the way the manga is kind of fleshed out already is half of it really is filler, just because you're getting to know the people, the characters, the family for what they are. And so the main point of the story, like, there's very few chapters that pertain to the actual plot of why the spy is doing what he's doing. And it's more just kind of like getting to know the family. So I actually wouldn't mind if they did have a lot of fillers in the anime, just because I think that half of the manga is that already. And another point to make is that, wait, I don't remember. I just lost it.
No. We're excited for it to come out, for sure.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I got this one, Gio. So some will call him a spy, other people will call him a bounty hunter. It's actually pretty interesting. So the new trailer for Boba Fett, the Boba Fett spinoff series, it's out, and I'm super excited for it. The way everything wrapped up on The Mandalorian, kind of giving you that little teaser at the end of the season finale with Boba Fett going in, sitting on what was Jabba the Hutt's chair and stuff. So for me, I'm super excited for that. I think that Boba Fett's definitely a strong enough character to stand on his own, and I'm really hopeful that they execute it well enough where it's not just a spin-off that has, one season and it's done. I actually hope that they kind of keep going with it as long as they can, still producing, good stuff where like it meets the certain standard, I guess, you have for Boba Fett, because he's such a loved character, in Star Wars. So what do you think, Gio?
You know, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't watch The Mandalorian.
You didn't like either season?
No.
That's just typical of you, though, right? You always go against the grain. You're like, oh, everyone's into it. I'm not watching it.
No, that's not. It's no. Honestly, that's not even really the reason. And it's not because like I don't like Star Wars, because I like Star Wars. I don't love Star Wars, but the reason why I didn't watch it, hold on. Hyphy Soul says I think we'll see Kira again in the show. Amelia Clark's character. So, whoa, I'm sold. Amelia Clark in Solo. Oh boy, woo. Anyways, I didn't watch The Mandalorian just because I'm just bad at watching TV shows in general. Like, that's just kind of my thing. Like I
literally watched Bunny Girl Senpai and said it was good, so I feel like you would really enjoy this one.
Bunny Girl Senpai, that got me through crisis during COVID.
Oh, okay.
I just always feel like, all right, I'm gonna wait till it drops, like all of it, so I can just binge it, and then I never binge it.
But yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like, it sucks, like having to wait week by week. But I mean, it's been out for a minute now, dude. You should definitely binge it. Like, it's not bad. It's a good story. I think like Mandalorian was really good, and like Boba Fett. I mean, when they first introduced him in Mandalorian, I like lost my shit. We were watching it together, and I was just like, no way. And she was just sitting there. She's like on her phone. She's like, what is it? And I'm like, that's Boba Fett. And she's like, is that the same guy? And I'm like, no, this is different. Like,
Boba Fett.
she was just like, yeah. So I was super like taken back. I was just like, dude, this is gonna be awesome. Like all these capabilities of like what could happen. And like when they came out that he was gonna get his own like spinoff, I'm like, dude, super dope. Like I'm super excited for that. Like I think that I really like the way they kept the continuity with like the same actor and stuff like that. So I think that they didn't just kind of throw someone else in there and like kind of say, try it out. So I think that I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be good. And, I don't know where it's going to go as far as like the storyline, but I mean, it's going to have some action. I'm excited for it.
I'm just hoping that Pedro Pascal comes back.
He was the titular Mandalorian, right? In the last
Yeah, she lost her shit when he took off his helmet in Mandalorian. She's like, "That's him." I'm like,
"There's just something so suave about that man."
And then he went and did some like not shit acting, but like, was it in the Wonder Woman movie? I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I haven't watched that either.
Yeah, don't. That one you can skip.
Yeah,
I heard it was bad.
Here's an unpopular opinion. I'm actually not a fan of the first Wonder Woman film either.
You know what? It's not as unpopular as you would think, because I think Mikey, if he's listening, he didn't enjoy it that much either. Yeah, Mikey, you said you didn't care for the first Wonder Woman either, right?
Yeah, no, it was pretty boring, I thought.
Agreed. It was not only that, but it was also very stereotypical. Like, I feel all films are kind of that way, but I don't know, it's just like the sappy romance and like the stoic Native American, and I was just like, I fell asleep watching it, to be honest.
Fair.
You will not fall asleep watching this Boba Fett spin-off, I'll tell you that much though.
Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting, and I it's not like I'm not interested in watching The Mandalorian. I don't know. I'm the type of person that I have so much stuff that I want to watch and so much stuff that I want to play that I just end up getting overwhelmed and I end up not doing anything, and I'm just watching YouTube on my phone.
Nice.
It's the folly of man. But anyways, I'm gonna ban you I'm not gonna just time you out 3 shots. I'm gonna ban you. Anyways, moving on. That's it for our subtopics. Then we will move on to our main topic, which was Eternals. Eternals. I'm not saying Immortals. I'm saying Eternals. Which premiered, I believe, this Thursday. And we all went to go see it, and us 3 and also Mikey. And this movie has a little bit of some news circulating it before the premiere. One, it's the lowest rated Marvel movie, even lower than Thor: The Dark World on Rotten Tomatoes. And also, there was news that because of the same-sex a relationship that was portrayed on screen, that it was banned from many Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia, Oman, the UAE, and other countries in that region. So it has gotten a bit of a kind of news surrounding it that you wouldn't particularly see around a Marvel movie. Now, let's start with, I want to say, the first half of it, pretty much talking about our non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll go into like the last 15 minutes, we'll go into spoilers. Mikey, if you want to hop in as well during our conversation, just feel free. But I want to get both of your opinions. What did you think overall of the movie?
So I'm a huge Marvel fan when it comes to the MCU, and for me, it was just different. I guess is the only way that I could say it. Is like, I liked the movie. I thought it was good. It's just different from what I was used to in terms of like, I could always see a character from like a previous movie in this new Marvel movie. You know what I mean? And like the fact that these were all new characters to me on the screen, like it was just a little different, like it's kind of like that transition from like the 10-year build-up to get to Endgame to like now we're starting a new chapter with new characters and stuff like that. So I liked it. It was just, like I said, it was just different. What do you think?
I took it for face value. I'm not a super huge MCU person like he is. So for me, I thought it was refreshing. I actually enjoyed it. Probably more than a lot of other Marvel films, just because for me it was so different. It wasn't exactly how it flows with every other MCU film prior to that. For example, Iron Man 2, or was it Iron Man 3, the one with Mickey Rourke?
That was 2.
2, there we go. Iron Man 2, I thought it was absolute garbage. So honestly, when you said the Thor movie was the worst, I honestly thought that was Iron Man 2. I thought it was a great fresh take. I wasn't looking back historically at all the other films. I was seeing it for what it was as a film and not a Marvel superhero movie.
Okay, fair enough. Mikey, you want to chime in?
Hold on. Yeah, I thought it was one of the more boring Marvel films out of the whole slate. Like, is it worse than Thor: The Dark World or worse than Iron Man? It's very close. Very, very close, in my opinion. But yeah, would I watch it again anytime soon? Probably not until I have to do a marathon for Avengers, the next Avengers big whatever movie. But yeah, like I wasn't too high on this film, and yeah, the low score, I think is kind of deserved.
I think me and Mikey talked about it after we got off the theaters. I was much higher on it. Mikey kind of agreed with the score. I would give it probably a little bit higher than what it was on Rotten Tomatoes. But for me, I think the biggest problem with this movie is that tonally it just doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be this kind of different, cerebral, different, higher thinking kind of philosophical movie where they do ask questions about existence and things of that nature and life itself and the value of life? Or does it just want to be a Marvel movie? Because for me, it points to the movie where it's kind of going in one direction. It remembers, oh, wait, we need to be a Marvel movie, so we need big fights to hit. And, I think tonally there's the movie just feels disjointed, in my opinion. That I don't know if either of you can agree with me on this, or Mikey as well, but it felt really choppy, and the editing was just horrible to me, to where it would transition out of nowhere, and it kind of just didn't flow cohesively.
I definitely agree with that. I think as far as what you had pointed out earlier, as far as the thought-provoking qualities of the film, I think that was honestly what made the film so great to me. That's not something that you see in Marvel films. Marvel films are very action for fun, entertaining, happy, like ending, yay films. Whereas this one, it provoked you to think, to use your mind a little bit more. And I think that's what made this film also more refreshing to me. But I do have to agree that it was very choppy as far as editing. They try to give you as much information as they possibly could in the time that they gave you, but then they're like, okay, well, let's jump here, and then now let's jump here because this is also something just as important to progress the film. I think that if they kind of fleshed it out more, maybe into a series or like a season or something, I think it would have, and taken a bit more time, it would have been far more successful. Not necessarily to the masses, I'm not sure, but maybe as far as more successful and cohesive as a production.
Yeah, I think that it was like, it didn't make me, like, I think it was a good movie. I agree with Gio. Like, I don't think it was like deserving of like the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that score. I think it was a little bit higher, but I just didn't feel like it was a Marvel like MCU movie that threw me in there the way the other movies did in the past. I felt like it was like almost more like sci-fi at some points. Like, it just didn't feel like a Marvel movie. Like, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because it didn't have any other those characters that like I'm used to, and like I'm like Mikey said, like, oh, I'm waiting for that next Avengers movie. Maybe I'm just like in that mindset where I'm so used to Avengers and like Iron Man and Thor and Captain America and like all those like familiar characters that they took time to like build upon and like introduce. And like on this movie, on the poster alone, you got 10 people standing at the bottom, and it's like, I can't remember half of their names, you know what I mean? Like, it's all these new characters that like I haven't grown like an emotional connection to like really care for them enough to like when everything's happening on, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing is that I think that we're also transitioning. We're in a transition phase. Iron Man, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this, but Iron Man's dead and he's not coming back unless the multiverse thing brings him back. But there's a chapter that's coming to a close with the old MCU characters, and they're trying to bring in new, fresh characters, but still trying to give you that transition phase, which is why I think Spider-Man is in the picture to bring this kind of together. I honestly, like I said, I think that it was cool that it wasn't a cut and paste Marvel film. It was definitely different, and I appreciated that. Because when I watched Iron Man, when I watched Thor, when I watched Captain America, I knew what it was going to happen every single time. And it was still enjoyable because I know what was the reason behind it. It was an action flick. But this one was more refreshing to see, just something different. And I think maybe that's what people didn't like about it, is that it wasn't the usual Marvel timeline and flow.
I feel it. I mean, like, also, I don't know. When watching the movie, did either of you feel like the cast didn't really have that much of, like, no one did a bad job acting, but it just felt like they didn't have any chemistry together.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with the entire movie. Like, it felt like everyone was casted their roles before ever auditioning with each other in the same room. Like, and then there's a bunch of dramatic moments, only just to give him like a silent tear. And there was like a bunch of those, except for like one person.
Yeah. There were a lot of emotional scenes that were supposed to be emotional, and they just didn't hit for me. And I think this is, well, one, the chemistry of the cast was off, but also because since the movie was so disjointed in where it was kind of going, I feel like we didn't spend enough time with these characters to actually really care about them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, with that many characters all in one movie, like, we didn't have that time to like really know them individually. Like, you think about like Chris and Tom, like from Loki and Thor, like they weren't huge actors, and then they bring them in, and then like we create this like relationship with them, and then we're like, okay, we like them, we're fans of them. And on this one, I think it was definitely, like you said, I think they were banking on the names, like Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, and like versus like, let's see if these people have chemistry. Like Mikey said, like if you don't have chemistry, I'd rather have some actors that I don't know, but there's good chemistry in the room versus like we got these, top of the tier A-list actors and actresses, and it's just like they don't have that chemistry. You know what I mean? It just doesn't hit the same way.
Although throwing it out there, if Loki were made into a film and they shoved Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston together for a 2-hour duration with the entire plot of what Loki was, would they have the same chemistry? I mean, I think we have to understand that it was a film, and I think that's where they maybe messed up, is that if they had fleshed this out over a longer series, especially because there's so many characters and with complex emotions, it would have not failed as harshly as it did as far as the chemistry. But as I had mentioned earlier, behind the scenes, I honestly think that it was maybe a point to show that there was one character who, it was symbolism. There was one character who showed empathy and sympathy. So that was the reason why she outshined everybody else, is because you couldn't get into their emotions, and there was a block. There wasn't that human quality that one character had. Gemma Chan's character, Cersei, she had that human quality that people don't have. And so that's why maybe they didn't show you as much of their personality or their humanness, because they didn't have that humanness to begin with. I mean, but that's just me kind of like looking in deeper. I don't know.
I want to bring your point up again, like when we go into the spoiler territories, because there is an idea that someone mentioned to me, because I had friends talk to me about the movie after they watched it, which I want to bring that up again later in the discussion. But also, Mike, you mentioned that basically Angelina Jolie and Gemma Chan and other cast members were casted at different points, right? During the movie?
Angelina Jolie was cast 3 months right before filming, and like so they're already setting up principal photography like when they actually started filming the movie. And 3 months before they actually started doing that, they got Angelina Jolie, and then 3 months after they started filming, they casted Gemma Chan, which was surprising considering she's like pretty much the protagonist of the movie.
Yeah.
And then like for them to like cast the protagonist 3 months already into filming, and then it showed in the movie. And I don't know, in my opinion, I think I would rather watch Justice League again over Eternals, because at least that would be a better, more entertaining screensaver. Because this was a very beautiful movie, like probably one of the most beautiful Marvel movies out of the whole entire slate. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Mikey said that, I was like, wow, that for you to say that, because Mikey was ragging on Justice League when he watched it. So for Mikey to say that, I was like, man, you hated this movie. But
but there is definitely a good movie in there. Like I'm pretty sure it's like there's gonna be a fan edit somewhere down the line. And the way they presented this movie as we saw in theaters, I don't know, it felt kind of like you said, disjointed, because it wasn't told in chronological order. That was one thing that was a little confusing, but that wasn't like the entire like problem in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there is a movie here that's good. It's just kind of lost. And also, yeah, I mean, I think this movie, it has good parts, but the sum of its parts don't make it whole. And in a sense, that's kind of the biggest flaw here, where you have a lot of redeemable things, because like I said, none of the cast does a bad job. I think they're all acting well, but it's just that there's no chemistry, and the dialogue and the script at certain points was pretty bad. Also, like most of the jokes didn't land for me. I want to say like 75 to 80% of the jokes didn't land. And I think the funniest part of the movie was what's his name?
The valet.
Kunal. What's his last name?
Kumail.
Kunal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His. Hold on. I want to say his name right.
Kumail Nanjiani.
No, there we go. Kunal Nanjiani. He was probably the funniest part of the movie. Him and kind of his kind of side character.
I would say he was
that
the heart
came
of the
in.
movie.
You think so?
I mean, like, yeah, that's where when he came in, that's when I started like, okay, like I'm actually like enjoying like when he's on screen. Like the story kind of picked up when he gets introduced.
Yeah, I mean, he's the comic relief character. Like, for example, what's his name in Thor Ragnarok? Korg, or what's his name? Korg.
Korg.
Yeah, like he only shows up in a few minutes of that film, but he is by far the one character that everybody always remembers because Taika Waititi just like it was hilarious. He brought like such amazing personality to a rock person.
All right, so we officially passed the halfway mark.
Wait, hold up. First,
So
let me just want to mention the 3D. The 3D added nothing to the experience, by the way, and I always try to watch all the Marvel movies in 3D, and because like I'm the 3D, I'm like the last 3D like fan, I guess, and yeah, we watched Shang-Chi in 3D, and the last act of Shang-Chi looked dope in 3D, and I did not get that feeling at all during Eternals, and there's only maybe one scene where the 3D was used effectively, but it's not worth the ticket price. Do you know what I'm talking about? Geo of the Water. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. That was literally it. And then, but yeah. So if you have the choice, watch it in 2D. There's no point.
We should have watched it in 2D.
Yeah. All right.
Let's move into spoiler talk, so we can finally get out. All right. So let's get into spoiler talk. First things first. I want to mention. Actually, I want to give people a spoiler warning, just so no one hops in here and just is like, you spoiled the movie for me. All right, let's talk about how Gemma Chan is a fucking queen and I love her and she's my favorite MCU character. But on the flip side of that, I hate Icarus a lot. Like, I hate that man with a passion. Like, he wasn't a good villain and I still hated him. Like, that pissed me off. And the fact that him and Sprite were just forgiven. Like at the end of the movie, that pissed me off.
I know she shanked her, and then she's like, "It's okay, I could turn you human." I'm like, "What is going on, dude?" Like,
smacked her across the face.
Super pissed. I think one of the best parts of the movie was when Sprite got knocked out with that rock. I was just like, "That's what's up." Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I did not like. I'm not down with like when there's these villains and then all of a sudden it's just like that, like everyone's forgiven, we're all friends again. I'm like, what? No, fuck those guys. Like they need to be outcasted.
So Icarus, I don't know if for y'all, but me and Mikey both agreed that it was obvious that he was gonna betray them or was the one that killed Ajax. Like to me, because in the movie it's kind of weird where he pops up and he's just like, oh, I wanted to go and what's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to see you, and he just happens to be there when the deviant attacks. And also, like the deviant, the one that speaks, there was really no point to that character other than it's something that it has to fight. There is no backstory onto why it could talk or how it could talk or what it's really thinking. It has no motivation other than to be something that they're fighting and something that Angelina Jolie has to get revenge on.
I know, it was like this buildup of like becoming more and more human, being able to talk, like the way it's face formed, and then all of a sudden it was just like Angelina Jolie kills it, and it's like, all right, well, that's done
in literally like 2 seconds. That was just caught me off guard a lot. I was expecting there to be more tension or like something, I don't know, anything, but like it was literally like, oh, I have you, I'm gonna kill you, Angelina Jolie, and then all of a sudden, whack, you're dead.
Yeah, it was weird how like the other thing too was like Angelina Jolie's like having these spaz attacks, right? And what's his name's like able to calm her down with like the touch of his hand. And then when he's dying, his last words were just like, remember. And then she's like, okay, like I'll remember. I won't forget. And it's just like after that, like she just doesn't go like Super Saiyan because she's just like,
She does.
I'm cool
I
now.
think she does it once.
She doesn't lose her shit like that though.
Oh,
Again.
that's true. That's true.
Like she's just like all of a sudden she's cured and she can remember everything now. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah, no, fair point. Yeah, that is another thing that I did realize. Also, the thing that bothered me, actually, you know what? I want to go back to what Jennifer said earlier about them humanness and them not having them. And someone floated me this idea, and then Mikey, maybe I don't know if you buy into this, but the reason why their kind of acting felt kind of a little emotionless in certain points
The aliens
was
and robots.
because they're robots and aliens. I don't know. Do you buy that?
Nope. Well, why did Black Knight fall in love? Oh, which, by the way, we should talk about eventually.
I think I can understand. Like, I know I didn't think about that.
Black Knight is not an Eternal.
I know,
No,
but like he fell in love with someone who had no emotion expressing and stuff.
That's the thing, though, is that
Because it's Gemma Chan, and if a woman who looked like Gemma Chan with no emotions came up to me, I would fall in love with her too.
no, but I think Cersei was one of the only ones. I'm not saying that none of them showed humanness whatsoever. I think there were definitely some characters who were more emotional than others. For example, Gemma Chan's character, because that she loved, like her first line, or like her first line in the film is, "It's beautiful. Like the earth is beautiful." So she came out already with these emotions and this love of the planet and the people who inhabit it. The same thing with, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. The dad.
Oh, what was it? Fastos.
Fastos. Like he wanted to give humans knowledge. He was supportive of them from the beginning as well. Whereas Icarus was like, he told Selma Hayek's character Ajax straight up. He was like, "I'm not gonna let Cersei get in the way of my mission." That was his first thing. That shows you how disconnected he is from his emotions. Whereas Cersei was like, let's give the people, everything. And so, like I said, I'm not saying that none of them had emotions. I just think that some had more than others, and those are the characters we tend to like more than, like, for example, Icarus or Sprite, or even, he was pretty cool, but like even the convent guy, the one who can control minds.
Oh, Druid.
Druid, there you go.
Yeah, I think that like I don't know. It's kind of weird when you think about it because they're all Eternals, but then they're all like different levels of like emotion. Like, are they all the same? No, they're all like different. And it's just like, I don't know. It was really weird. Like, I didn't think about it until you said it, Gio, but there's definitely a point where like he could, like when Icarus admits that he killed Ajax, and what she's like telling him like Ajax loved you, and like he just repeats it back to her, and he's like, did she, or something like that. And it's like, I guess that is like to your point of like they are robots, and like he didn't know what love was because she was saying she's like, she loved you, and he's like, did she, like, you know what I mean? But then earlier in the movie he tells what's up, the other character, the main chick,
Cersei?
Yeah, Cersei. He tells Cersei like, I love you, Cersei, when they're like holding hands before they have a sex scene or whatever. Like, it's just really weird, like how he's like at one point saying like questioning whether or not Ajax loved him, but then like going in like earlier in the movie he's like, I know what love is because I'm saying I love you. Or you just want to get laid. That's why he said.
Yeah, let me just say, I want to point out that I got straight fuckboy energy from Icarus from the very beginning. I don't think those were genuine emotions, or at least not as genuine as he wanted her to believe. I just think he wanted to get her clothes off. I thought so from the very beginning.
That definitely accelerated quickly. Like, I was like, okay, they're like a little bit more than friends, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're like laying on top of each other, and I'm like, oh my! I leaned over and I'm like, I think this is the first like sex scene in a Marvel movie. Like, I don't know any other one.
Which is interesting. I mean, I guess if they're gonna do it in a movie, it's probably in something like this where they try to portray it as more of a different kind of Marvel movie that doesn't have the characters that kids would gravitate towards. Because like I don't even know if this is gonna be a hit. Because like are kids gonna watch this? Like, do they? I don't think kids know who the Eternals are. I don't think this is. I want to say it's kind of a swing and a miss.
I mean,
It's an ambitious swing, but it's a miss.
I would say it's
yeah,
as big as of a swing as Guardians of the Galaxy was.
Yeah, I think the difference though is that Guardians of the Galaxy, like you had said, Gio, was intended for kids. I mean, it was still kind of like a film that kids and adults can both enjoy. This is the first, well, not the first, I guess, the Thor, I'm sorry, Loki, and what if to that point were more oriented for adults because of that thought-provoking nature that they had, those thought-provoking qualities.
Zombie Bait in the chat says no one cares about the Eternals comics wise. Yeah, I mean, you could say the same about the Guardians though, pre the movie. No one cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie. But because essentially, if you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy comics before the movie, they had basically completely different characterizations than in the movie. And after the movie, even the comic characters started to morph more towards their movie counterparts. Flash versus Superman fight was cool though. Yeah, that was pretty cool. You see Makari kind of as the Flash character and Icarus as more the Superman character.
I mean, they even referenced Superman.
They did. Like Clark. Should I call you Clark now?
Yeah, I didn't think that was. Well, that's on another, because they say that Superman part when they're introducing that tech guy. I call him the tech guy, but I keep forgetting his name. This is the problem when there's like 10 fucking new characters. You forget people's names. But I did think that the movie, surprisingly, like it was like, I don't know if it was like if they were just trying to fit it all in one movie, or if it was like the plan from the beginning to be as inclusive as it was, as far as like different people and different stories. You know what I mean? Like being like that couple and having that kiss scene on camera before he leaves, and like he tells his husband like I'm going away or whatever. Like that having a deaf character be a superhero. And then what else was there? There was like
people of color, like diversity.
Yeah, the diversity of it. So like I don't know. There's like parts of this movie where I'm like, I definitely agree with like story plot and like how much it changed. Where I'm like, it kind of sucks. But then there's other aspects of the movie where like how much diversity and like how much they were like open to like including a lot of different things that we normally don't get in a Marvel movie. That made me be like, I kind of like it for those reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to kind of the end credit scenes. Right. So the first end credit scene, we see that the who was it? It is Thena. Who else is?
Druig
and Makari. They are basically looking for the other Eternals who got taken by the big god thing, and they are introduced. They are introduced.
To go back.
What's that?
Because they took off, and then she's like, "We haven't heard from them in a couple days.
Yeah,
we need to turn around and go back."
So then we're introduced to Harry Styles, aka Eros, aka Star Fox, who is Thanos' brother, and basically saying that I know where to find your friends, which obviously sets up a sequel. So we're gonna get more Eternals, I believe, whether we like it or not. And I'm not complaining about it. Even though this movie wasn't great, anything with Gemma Chan, I'll watch it. So what did y'all think about this end credit scene? Are you kind of just like, all right, this is just sequel setup?
Yeah, although I thought it was very fitting that of every person out there, Harry Styles was chosen to play Eros. I thought that was... I'm not familiar with how Eros is portrayed in the comics, but I mean,
the ability to control emotions.
Okay, which is kind of similar to mythology, where he's, it's about the emotions and the eroticism of everything. So I think that's awesome that it was Harry Styles. He's a very suave person.
Yeah, he came on and it was like he only had a couple of lines, but I was like, dude, like I don't even know if he's acted in anything before, but he nailed his lines for sure, like on his delivery, where I'm like, this dude's got some kind of swagger going on. And like I definitely was like respect, like when he took his shot at Angelina Jolie, I'm like, go for it, dude. Like, do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Let's move on to the last end credit scene where we see Kit Harington is basically about to tell Gemma Chan like his secret, and that's when she's taken by the big god thing. And then we find out that he has this magical black sword, and as he's about to grab it, they say, "Are you ready for?" You hear a voice saying, "Are you ready for that, Mr. Whitman?" And it is confirmed that Kit Harington's character is actually the Black Knight, which is a Marvel character that I've never read into. I don't know anything about him, so I don't know if either of you do.
And neither do I. I mean, I didn't know anything about it because everything happened quickly. I was like, "What did they say?" And then she Googled it right away, and then I was looking at it, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know that character at all."
So the voice that was talking to him at the end, do you recognize it?
Okay, I wanted to say that it sounded like Samuel L. Jackson.
That's what I
but
thought.
don't know. No, okay. I was like, it sounded so familiar, but I didn't know who it was. Or was it the What If guy?
It's actually Mahershala Ali, who was going to play Blade.
Wait, is that confirmed? It was him?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hype.
So
Yeah, we thought at one point, like, okay, they're just gonna introduce Jon Snow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big old crossover, and Jon Snow's gonna be in the MCU.
I thought it was funny
Yeah.
with having the actors from Game of Thrones, Jon Snow and Robb Stark, saying, "I love you, Cersei." I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I said the same thing to him. I was like, oh my God, he would never say that in Game of Thrones.
anyways, overall thoughts. I mean, what would you give this movie out of 10? I personally would give it a 7 out of 10. What about you? We'll start with Jen, Josh, and then Mikey.
Yeah, I think a 7, maybe a 6.5, just because the choppiness didn't. I wasn't favorable about that, but I did love the thought-provoking nature of the film.
Yeah, I'd say like I'm gonna go like a 6.5. Like, it was a good movie for like what it was. Like, am I rewatching it anytime soon? No. Like, am I putting it up in there in the list of like great MCU movies? Like, not at all. But like, you know, it was good. Like, it was good for for a Friday night to go watch and like, you know, see what it was all about.
Yeah, for me, I would give it a solid, maybe 6. Maybe, yeah, 6 out of 10. Maybe 5.5. I was really not high on this movie. Like, I think I would rather watch Iron Man 2 again over Eternals. Sorry, but is this something worth watching in theaters? I mean, visually, it looks amazing. Probably one of the best looking Marvel films to date. But is it worth it to watch it on a screen? I don't know. In my opinion, I would wait for Disney Plus.
I'd give it 2D only on a $5 day.
A matinee.
Not even matinee. Like when it's do movie theaters still do $5 days?
I don't think so.
I think over here they do $8 days.
Well, it's the cheapest you can get in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but what do you guys recommend a movie?
I'd recommend the movie, like, if you had time to kill.
Yeah.
And you just wanted to watch it, like, you didn't have anything else to do, like, but I wouldn't, like, recommend it in terms of, like, you have to watch it, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, it's a good, like, I would almost call it, like, a filler movie, because to me, and, like, what I know to be MCU movies, like, doesn't have a huge effect on it, at least from, like, for right now, you know what I mean? Well, like,
Definitely.
will, you know, the end of the movie be, like, thrown into, you know, a Spider-Man movie or whatever, like, to make it be like, okay, that shit that happened with the Eternals is actually going to come back and we need to, like, figure it out to defeat whatever we got to defeat, maybe. But, like, I almost feel like the whole movie is like a filler where it's like, it's cool to watch and, like, see what it's going on and what it's about, but, like, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it, like, for an MCU movie.
Yeah, I think if you want to watch it. Go for it. I mean, there's a lot of movies that you go in and you watch it and you're like, man, that was a shitty movie. And then there's movies that you go in and you're like, wow, I was pleasantly surprised. So, I mean, go watch it if you have the time, if you have the money to kill, go for it. I think it's fine.
Agreed. It's a take it or leave it. It's not necessary watching, but if you have time to kill or if you're interested, I mean, this is a very mixed bag where You might hate it, you might love it, but it's not something to where everyone's like, this sucks completely. And I don't think even people who weren't high on the movie, they recognize that there are parts of it that are good, but it's disappointing, I think, more than a bad movie.
I can see that.
Fair.
All right. That wraps up our thoughts on the Eternals. And that's it for today's show. So, Mikey, are you going to close this out, or am I going to do a final word?
No, I'll wait. I forgot to talk about that. But first off, shout out to Jennifer and Josh for hosting. You guys actually did. I really did a good job. I would like to have you guys back on if you guys are down, because I like hearing your guys' perspectives, especially Eternals. Like you kind of sold me on the unhumanness of the Eternals. I was like, okay, like I get it. Like I'm open to that interpretation. And it's like I think I would watch it again with that. But yes. But do you guys have socials or like that if you guys want to put in the chat so you guys can follow Jennifer and Josh?
Yeah, we'll link our socials. Where you go and add that?
Yeah, and then and while they do that, Gio can give the final word.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, actually, Jennifer and Josh, if you guys have anything to say, or if you want.
I just want to say thanks, man. Like it's watching you guys' show, and like I find myself like I'll be watching it and I'll be talking to her about it as I'm watching it, and like we have our own discussions about it. And like I said earlier in the show, when Gio was like, hey, is anyone interested? Like, for sure. I was like, dude, that'd be so much fun to do. We had been talking about wanting to do a podcast, and we just didn't know what to talk about. And like having this as an opportunity, we're like, dude, let's try it out and like see how it all goes. And like I was super excited for it. And I think everything went smooth for the most part. Like I hope the people that watched this episode liked it. And like I'd love to be back on again. Like in the future and stuff like that. Like it's just you guys make it look easier for sure. Like when we were running through the rehearsal, I kind of had to shake it loose and be like, all right, just be casual about it, because I didn't really know how to approach it. But I'm super happy with the way things went, and like thank you guys for everything, the layout and everything. I know the production, that's more than half the show itself, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. It was honestly a pleasure getting to chat with you. It was fun being able to express my opinion. Like I watch you guys ever since he started telling me about your guys' stream. I watch it almost every weekend, so it was nice to be able to discuss things with you.
For sure. And it was a pleasure to have both of you on. Especially you, Jennifer. Josh, I don't care about really that much. He's all right. He's just some guy. Anyways, jokes aside, thank you for being on, and hope to have both of you on soon. And yeah, we're trying to build out a roster of co-hosts so we can get more people in here, some diverse voices, and just to get some fresh blood and some fresh takes in here. So
yeah, and I'm glad it was you guys reviewing Eternals instead of me, because I would have been crapping on it the entire time.
All right. Anyways, Mikey, let me get the one.
All right, here we go.
All right. So let me try to give this message out while an unspoiler take. Right. Never let yourself be, how do I say this, removed from your emotions in certain situations. And what I mean by that is try, and it's funny because me of all people saying this, try never to become disillusioned or jaded and basically while you're living your life. It's really hard, especially in today's society where we have access to so much knowledge and so much information that we discover things that aren't so pleasant about our world. It's easy to become disremoved and become super negative, where, to be honest with you, all life is viable, all life is sacred. So never try not to be desensitized to what's going on in the world, and always just even when things are really bad, just know that it could always get worse. All right.
What?
It's been your boy Gio Huey Flo, alongside my let's introduce my regular co-host,
Mikey,
and then my guest co-host,
Josh,
Jen.
telling y'all to stay thriving, stay fighting, stay surviving, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.
That was really good.
Yeah, good job.
Okay, I didn't know if we could stop.
Man, like, yeah.
Thank you
I
so
think
much,
everything
guys.
after the first like two topics, I was like, all right, cool. Like,
You
narrowed
found
it
your
down.